Welcome back to the Football Don't Lie podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be doing our recaps for week two. As we're recording this video, the Vikings are currently losing 7-24 to the Eagles. And the Eagles should be wrapping up this game, but we'll keep you guys updated. But we have all the other games recapped. So let's get right into it. Thursday Night Football, Chiefs, Chargers, 24-27. Hudson, I want you to go first. You were not here for the predictions, so I want you to tell me what you saw from this game.
Yeah, a really fun game to watch, really fun way to start out week two. I think we all had a feeling that the Chiefs would win this game just because of the Keenan Allen injury, but got a really close game towards the end until Herbert threw that pick six to the seventh round pick. And Chiefs ended up winning this game. It was definitely a fun one to watch, but the Chiefs are looking like a really nice team, and that Tyreek Hill, not even having him on the team, is not going to be a problem for Mahomes this season.
Yeah, before me and Suhas finished recording, I think Keenan Allen was not ruled out at the time, but we still, Me and Suhas still stuck with the Chargers, and we were close. Like, I thought the Chargers had a really
the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I thought the Chargers still had a very good grasp on this game.
Oh no, you said we picked the Chargers. That's right.
Yeah, no, I picked the Chargers.
I picked the Chiefs.
Okay. No, I still had the Chargers. I thought the Chargers were going to do and they had a good start in the game. Just Herbert just sold at the end. Actually, it wasn't her. I'm not going to blame it on Herbert. I will not blame this game on Herbert. I will say the defense, though, sold after not being able to pick up the interceptions that Mahomes basically threw to them. And Gerald Everett, I don't know what he's doing on that play. Lackluster, just a complete give up on the play. And that basically cost them the game, essentially. And of course, Herbert's hurt now. But, good game for the Chiefs. Mahomes is still dominant at times. But I still think the Chargers are a better team. When they get Keenan Allen back, I think they'll win the next time that they play in Los Angeles. But good win for the Chiefs, I'd say.
I had the Chiefs coming in to this week, either with or without Keenan Allen. Chargers made it close. They were actually up. Chiefs came back at the end and won this game. The pick was like the turning point. Gerald Everett, I don't know what he was doing. I get you want to come out, but you just have to give your all for one play, and then you can come out after the play. Like barking at the sideline, not even paying attention to the snap and stuff like that. That cost your team the game. Like, you weren't even paying. That was some AJ Green stuff from our Gerald Everett right there. That was complete, bozo moment. Asante Samuel dropped like 3 picks. Again, I don't know what was going on. And then, Mahomes just looked really good towards the end. He had like a dot over J.C. Jackson for one play. Then he had a couple of other plays. Chiefs pulled it out at the end, as I expected them to. Moving on to the Sunday games, we got the Patriots versus the Steelers. 17-14 win for the Patriots. I think me and Tejas had the Steelers. I don't know what Hudson had, but the Patriots ended up winning this game.
Yeah, I had the Steelers also winning this game, so I was really proved wrong by the Patriots. I thought this team wouldn't really come out with many wins this season, but Mac Jones apparently had a back injury from last week, but that looked like it wasn't really an issue. It was really this game I wasn't really paying much attention to, but it looked like it was a pretty even game on both sides. The Patriots were just able to pull out. Everyone really played equally. There wasn't really a standout guy, but the Patriots got the win over Pittsburgh, a big win, especially one in conference, one that they had to go to Pittsburgh to win. I'm sure it was a tough game for them, but they were able to get the win. Now they move on to 1-1.
Yeah, big win for New England, but in my opinion, it doesn't matter. I still think New England is going to have a losing season. And they won this game against Pittsburgh, partly because Mitchell Trubisky is very average. And the Steelers offense can't get going with they got to have a guy. And their offensive play calling at times is bad. The defense did a very good job against Mac Jones, like I expected them to. I just thought they'd have a little bit more offensive firepower, but they just couldn't get it going. George Pickens, who was Suas's big dog and was going to do well this season, has had two catches for 20 yards total in the season.
And 3 targets.
3 targets, fair enough, but he has not got the targets that he should be getting. And the Steelers offense doesn't look that very good. And I've been hearing a lot of chants for Kenny Pickett to start coming in, but I don't think he will. I think Tomlin will ride the ship with Trubisky, but a big win for New England nonetheless.
Yeah, I expected this game to be close. Steelers pulled it out at the end. Patriots pulled it out at the end. Very impressed by Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers. Nelson Aguilar had a ridiculous catch. He mossed someone so bad. I don't know who it was, but I remember watching that. The Steelers, Mitch Trubisky's just not the guy. He's just not. Kenny Pickett needs to start, in my opinion. Mitch Trubisky doesn't he's just too, he doesn't take enough risks. He just check down all the time. Najee Harris has been disappointing to me. Deontay's been good. Deontay has been good. George Pickens had 1 reception for 23 yards and is 3 targets or 2 targets. He has to be featured more. But yeah, disappointing from the Steelers, but the Patriots pull this one out. Moving on, potentially the game of the week, Dolphins versus Ravens. Wow, this game was ridiculous. I turned off the game after the first half. I was like, the Ravens got it.
Yeah,
they were up 28-7. I think 28-7, and then they eventually were up 35-14, and the Dolphins scored 28 in the fourth quarter. Tua, 469 yards thrown, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks, 36 for 50 completion. Lamar Jackson had an amazing game as well, 318 yards passing, 119 yards rushing. But ultimately, both defenses were kind of trash, but the Ravens defense was more trash on the day.
Dude, I was just speechless for the whole entire day and part of today as well. 28-7 going into halftime and 35-14 going into the fourth quarter. Now, teams that are down 21 or more points going into the fourth quarter as of 1 p.m. on Sunday were 0-711. And as of about 4:45 yesterday, that changed to 1-711. This game is absolutely insane. And for all the Tua haters out there, 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He led his team to this victory. And if Brian Flores was the coach still, if this was last year's Dolphins, Jacoby Brissett's in this game at halftime. In the second quarter, Tua is out of this game. And he definitely, now with an offensive coach who actually has some confidence in you, it's crazy what that can do. 6 touchdowns for Tua. The run game wasn't even working. That's the one thing I wanted to go well because, finally we had New England last week. That's an easy game. Now we play a real test. Next week's going to be the real deal. But this is our first real test with Baltimore. And I wanted to take some stress off of Tua with the run game, but Raheem Mostert with 51 yards, Chase Edmonds couldn't get anything going except for that big run at the end of the game. Tyreek Hill, almost 200 yards, Waddle over about 175 yards, each of them with 2 touchdowns. Gesicki made an insane touchdown grab in the third. This game was absolutely insane. The refs were missing every single call, and the Dolphins somehow came back to win this game. Absolutely flawless performance in the second half from this team, and it's just a proud day to be a Tua fan.
Yeah, I owe Tua Tagovailoa an apology. I owe the entire Dolphins offense an apology. And this is a big statement game for Tua. Third-year quarterback. This is the time when we wanted to see improvement from Tua, and I think I've seen it. This is exactly who I wanted to see Tua become, even though I've hated on him a lot. But this is the step where third-year quarterbacks need to make. When Cam was in his third year, I was a little scared because he had 2 mediocre seasons leading his team. But his third year, he made a big, giant step in the team winning. And so far, the Dolphins are off to a 2-0 start. Nobody would have thought. So big win for Tua. But I want to talk about this Ravens defense. Are you kidding me? How in the world do you let Tyreek Hill behind you multiple times in a game? Like, are you kidding me, dog? Ain't no way that you let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle torch you. Nothing against Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. They are elite receivers. But come on, bro. You're winning the game by, 21 points in the fourth quarter. Come on, man. You cannot allow this. Just a terrible performance. Bozo moment for the Ravens secondary. Just cost Lamar and the Ravens this game. Unbelievable choke job. But final thought is I want to give Mike McDaniel a lot of props for coming up with a good scheme in the second half. Really brought the game back into check. So good win for the Dolphins, and big test coming up next week.
Suas, but before you go, I have two questions. First one's for both of you. I'm gonna just assume that both of you had the Ravens winning this game.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I already wrote that down because I had a really good feeling. And Tejas, with Suas coming up, I just want to ask one quick question: Jalen Waddle or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
You already know what Suas is gonna say. I'm gonna be
Okay.
unbiased and without even, I don't even have to think too much about it. It's Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. And I know Suhas is probably a little bit smirking on the side, but I think Jalen Waddle is just a better receiver than Amon-Ra St. Brown. But nothing against Amon-Ra. He's also a beast, and we'll get to him when we talk about the Lions. But I think Jalen Waddle is just a little bit better in terms of his speed and explosiveness.
Do you want me to answer that question or no?
If you want it.
I think the only thing that Jalen Waddle has on Amon-Ra St. Brown is speed. I think everything else Amon-Ra St. Brown's better. That's all I'm going to leave it at. So I think that, listen, man, the Ravens defense really sold the game. I don't really know what else to say. Tua had a good second half, not so good first half. Lamar just got his teammates just quit on him, basically Lamar had the game of his life, and they didn't pay him. His teammates quit on him. Shout out to the Dolphins, 2-0. Big test for them next week. We'll talk about that in a separate video. But yeah, I think that it was a solid game from the Dolphins at the end. Both defenses, though. Dolphins pass rush is actually pretty concerning to me. I said it too. I said it before the season started. Their pass rush is not deep at all. But yeah, I think that I don't know. I think that the Ravens secondary, a lot of people thought it was good on paper, but yeah, they just, and their pass rush it's just not the same. But moving on to the next game, we got the Panthers versus the Giants. We'll let Tejas take it away on this one.
Hold on, guys. I'm getting an alert from my phone. Breaking news. Matt Rule has still not been fired yet? Bro, this guy is literally the biggest clown on the planet, bro. I cannot believe this dude, as a head coach, is 10-25. 10-25 after 3 seasons. Unbelievable. He has lost his last 9 games. And whenever the Panthers allow more than 17 points in the game, the Panthers' record is 1-20-something. It's unbelievable. This dude has no idea how to coach. He is the reason why the Panthers lost this game. And I'm going to put a little bit more blame on Matt Rule than I will on the offense, and especially the offensive coordinator. Ben McAdoo, I don't know what kind of game plan he's calling in the first half. You gave McCaffrey the ball fine, but the play calling is just terrible. And the urgency. Shi Smith is in the game. Great. Shi Smith is a great receiver. I think he has the potential to be great. Fine. He's dropping the ball, whatever. Why is Laviska Shenault, the dude you traded for, And Terrence Marshall Jr., a second round pick from last year, not getting any PT. Why is Shi Smith getting all the PT? It doesn't make sense. They know McCaffrey is the go-to guy, and they'll do whatever it takes to stop him. DJ Moore's getting one-on-one. Fine, you can throw the ball to him, but once in a while he'll get shadowed too. Robbie Anderson and Shi Smith. That's it. Robbie Anderson's not going to be anybody else with speed, which is why you run two high safety. And if you bracket McCaffrey, who else you going to throw to? Shi Smith. And Shi Smith wasn't making those plays. But Matt Rule kept him in for some dumbass reason. I don't know, man. I'm just sick and tired of watching this team lose over and over. They have the talent. It is just the coaching that is unbelievable and just costing this team play calling altogether. I want to give credit to our defense, but it's unbelievable to me, man. Like 0-2 to start off another year. I'm kind of just about to give up. Like we play New Orleans next week. I don't think we'll have a shot of winning that game. And then we got Arizona, LA, San Francisco. Who else we got on their docket? Oh, Tampa Bay. If Matt Rule doesn't get fired by week 8, I would be extremely shocked. Take it away, guys.
Did both of you take the Panthers for this game?
No,
I'll take the Giants.
I took the Giants.
That's a good pick, I guess. I really thought that the Panthers would be able to win this game. The Giants, I know they beat the Titans and everyone's, talking about them, whatever. But I really thought their luck would come over, and apparently not. I don't know who the Giants play next week, but I want to actually
Monday night.
Monday night they play?
Yeah, Cowboys.
Giants. Ooh, I mean, they have a chance in that game, to be honest. I know they just beat Cincy, but I think they have a chance in that game. But the Giants have been looking not too bad. I know it's against this Panthers team, which, as Tay just kind of mentioned a little bit, they're obviously have not been impressive at all to start the season, but the Giants have been looking pretty good. Brian Daboll has kind of turned this team around. Whoever thought he would be a better head coach than Joe Judge. But it looks like Daniel Jones might have just needed a better head coach who believed in him and actually had the keys to success for him. Brian Daboll has been proving that. I know they played the Tennessee defense, who just gave us like 60 points to the Bills tonight, and then also lost to the Giants. But I mean, I don't know. The Panthers have not shown anything. The QB situation has not been figured out, and obviously their head coaching situation is even more in question. So Giants, a stock keeps rising, Panther stock keeps falling.
I mean, yeah, I said the Giants would win this game. I'm not too surprised. Panthers, I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, when is the last time the Panthers have won a game?
Oh, you want to know the last time we won a game? When we beat Arizona last year with
Whoa.
Cam.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that was the last time we won a game.
That was like middle of the season. Wasn't that like week?
Yeah,
like,
we were 5. We won the game, we were 5-5.
That was like, yeah, it's like week 11 or 12. Jesus, all right.
I mean, but they just literally, I don't know. They're just disappointing right now. CMC had a better game. DJ Moore finally scored a touchdown. This dude, I don't know who the guy was, bro. He had a clear pick into his hands, bro.
Frankie Luvu played a great game until that point. And he's played an excellent game like throughout, except for that one play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was just very that was confusing. The Giants didn't have like the greatest game. It was like a very defensive game, but they pulled it out at the end. So good for them. They are 2-0 right now. Who would have thought, guys? Only me. All right, next we got the Colts and Jags. The Colts and Jags. What are your thoughts on this game?
Go ahead, Hudson.
Man, it kind of pains me almost because I've been high on this Colts team for a while now. I think I actually had this team like upsetting the Bills in the playoffs 2 years ago with Phillip Rivers, and then I had them going far with Carson Wentz, like dark horse Super Bowl contenders. That turned out to not work at all. This year I was really high on this team with Matt Ryan. I think borderline top 10, even if top 15 you want to go there, quarterback. And Jonathan Taylor is coming off of a crazy breakout year, and I think he's going to do nothing but improve. Michael Pittman Jr., I think, is going to flourish into a start of the season with the top 5 O-line, great defense. This team is set up for success. After week 1, I'm thinking, like, it better be just like one of those, like, Green Bay type things where they just, week 1, new team, whatever. But 24-0. You got shut out by the team who had the worst record in the league last year. This is pure embarrassment for the Colts. Matt Ryan has shown that he is potentially washed. Like, I thought that maybe a change of scenery, he could actually be better than he was, but 3 interceptions, 16 for 30, less than 200 yards against this Jacksonville defense. This is just pure embarrassment for the Colts. I don't even know who they play next week, but whoever it is, they better have a fair chance. It's the Chiefs. All right, yeah. The Colts are going to be starting out the season 0-2-1. And like that, I just cannot believe how bad this Colts team has turned out. But the Jaguars, I guess on the bright side, Trevor Lawrence looked really good in this game. Travis Etienne had some flashes, but I think the main thing about this game is that the Colts could potentially be done.
Yeah, I agree. Biggest bozos of the week, in my opinion, except for another team, which we'll get to in a minute. Like it's unbelievable, man. A team with Jonathan Taylor and an offensive line this good is losing to the Jaguars. Like, I get it; they've had their struggles in Jacksonville, but come on, dog. Like, it's unbelievable. The best team in this division is the freaking Jaguars. The Texans might even be better than the Colts at this point. Like, it's crazy to even say that, but like the Jaguars might win this division. Like, who would have thought? Like, and this division is going to be the worst in the league. I don't know how many wins it's going to take to win this division. It might be like 8 or 9, to be honest, maybe even less. But we'll see. But just the Colts are just embarrassing, in my opinion. You're not feeding Jonathan Taylor, but I will say they did start 0-3 last year, so I mean, they can turn it around. But it's kind of crazy, man. We thought this team was going to win this division, and now they're sitting looking in the dumpster fire.
Yeah, like I first of all, I had Colts defense in one of my leagues. Fucking sold me. Like the Jaguars. Shout out to the Jaguars, but the Colts. Matt Ryan, who I think Hudson said Matt Ryan might be washed. He might be washed. Jonathan Taylor is getting underused so much, bro. Like for a guy who was like, he broke every record last year, blah blah blah. He hasn't done like anything compared to that this year, and that's on his coaching staff. Passing game has been weak. Pittman was out, but that's no excuse. 24-0, it's absolutely no excuse. Yeah, that was just a terrible showing. But moving on to the Jets and the Browns, what are your thoughts on that game?
Dude, this game was absolutely insane. I know somebody who put a bet in actually on a parlay, so turned into -0.5 a point for the Browns. Nick Chubb gets into the end zone. The score is, I don't even know what the score is, if I'm being honest. The score is 30-17. Extra point is missed. It's whatever, it doesn't matter because it's game over. It's a 2-possession game. 60-something yard touchdown to Corey Davis. It's a 1-possession game. And the Jets somehow get the ball back. And obviously the missed point turns into the game-losing extra point. And I don't know how the Jets won this game, but I think that this loss makes up for the Browns beating the Panthers. And like, Joe Flacco played insane. Over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Definitely was not the best player this week because we all know who that one was. But I don't know. I was not expecting to see this from Joe Flacco. We were getting serious discussions before the game about, if the Jets offense doesn't perform well, could we maybe even see Mike White, which I know everybody was hoping for, but obviously the Jets offense did not underperform or struggle all this game. Jacoby Brissett went back to being the guy that he is, losing to the Jets. But it was really the defense on this one, so you couldn't really blame him, but had some bad decisions, to be honest, in that game. Amari Cooper finally got the full effect, over 100 yards and a touchdown, but Nick Chubb was really the player of the game for the Browns, at least not really because they lost, but 3 touchdowns. Was the guy that carried them to the point they got to, but classy move by the Cleveland Browns. I was really surprised. I don't know how they lost that, but if there's any team to do it, it's the Browns.
Biggest bozos of the week, bro. Biggest bozos of the week. This is the team I was hinting. How in the world do you lose a game where you had a 99.6% chance of winning with 2 minutes to go, under 2 minutes? Unbelievable. This is worse than the Colts, in my opinion. Like, you had a 2-0 start in your hands, and you just blew it. Like, you could easily be 0-2 if you're Cleveland. Like, just think about it. Like, it's unbelievable. Nick Chubb carried you all game long. You blew the onside kick. Your secondary can't guard Garrett Wilson. I mean, what else is there to say? I want to give more props to the Jets, though. And I want to give props to Garrett Wilson, who I thought was going to be the best wide receiver in this draft class. He's an excellent guy out of the slot. He knows what he's doing. And he just looks NFL ready. And with Zach Wilson coming back, look out for the Jets. They are a team to be reckoned with. I know Hudson does not like me saying that, but they can make some serious noise in that division. And their offense can cause a lot of missed tackles, a lot of yak opportunity in that offense. Big win for the Jets. Big win.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how the Browns blew this game. Like, I have absolutely no clue like what happened at the end. Again, they were up in this game, and then at the end, Joe Flacco played like a madman. Garrett Wilson with his coming out party. The Browns, I mean, apart from Nick Chubb, like, and Amari Cooper, I guess no one really stepped up. And yeah, that's just the typical Browns L, bro. Like, I don't have much else to say about that. Like, the Browns just folded. Lions and Commanders. I'm gonna just quickly go first and say this. As of right now, the Lions are leading the NFL in rushing. They are, they have scored 35 points for 3 straight games. Our offense is ridiculous, and we did this without 3 starting O-linemen. DeAndre Swift is a monster. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a monster. Jared Goff is good, but in this draft, we are legitimately 1 QB away. Like, our offense is complete apart from the QB position. The defense is coming together. We shut them out in the first half. The second half, they made a run, but we also made our run at the end. And, yeah, I'm just very happy. I'm extremely happy. We almost beat the Eagles, and we dominated the Commanders for most of this game. So, yeah, I think I'm really happy. Like, I think this is like the most excited I've been in a long time as to where my team is going.
Before I go, you guys both took the Browns and the Lions for these 2 past games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I also took the Lions for this game. I know Carson Wentz played well last game, other than like some minor mistakes, but Carson Wentz also played decently well this game. The Lions really showed up, and their offense was really dynamic. Amon-Ra St. Brown had himself a game, so definitely love to see him doing well. But we talked about that before. We know who's better than him. DeAndre Swift keeps having himself a season. I think like is he like the NFL's leading rusher as of right now? 2 weeks into the season, so but young running back who's going to be flourishing for many years to come. And their defense, obviously led by Aiden Hutchinson, 3 sacks in this game. He was my defensive rookie of the year pick, so I'm glad to see him doing well as I expected him to. But yeah, the Lions have a young team, and it's showing. The experience is going to be a problem in the long run if they're obviously. So this is going to end up not being a playoff type of season, but I think they're going to be close to it. And after they can find out who their quarterback is going to be, we've had some discussions about it potentially being Lamar Jackson, especially after the Ravens sold him this game. So if they can somehow get Lamar to Detroit, they're already set up for success with the offensive line that they have built there, with the running backs, with the wide receivers, with the young defense improving. Lions can be scary good if they can find their guy, but as of right now, this young team looks ready to go.
Yeah, I got nothing more else more to add on. This line seems young. Like I mentioned, I had them winning 8-9 games this season. Look, they're young. They rally around their coach. They're going to be a very fun team to watch this year. I'm really happy for Suhas that he gets to watch his team win games for the first time in a while. And this team is good. Like they are very talented across the board. Hudson mentioned the experience. It will cost them down the line when they're trying to win big time games, but they will be a very exciting team to watch. They'll keep very close games. And when they're playing the big time powerhouses, they'll keep it very close. They have a very explosive offense to do that. And this is a big win for the Lions and a big step ahead in this season.
Yep. Next game is going to be Buccaneers versus Saints. We had all sorts of fights, ejections, suspensions. Buccaneers ended up winning this game 20-10. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to take the Saints in this game. It's New Orleans. Bucks haven't beat the Saints, I want to say, since 28, or at least in New Orleans since 2018. And I really had a good feeling that the Saints would win this game, but something was telling me that the Bucks were going to finally win. Brady's last season, at least like 95% sure, and obviously they're trying to get the most out of him that they can, and get the most out of the season that they can, and they're not taking any stupid losses. They go into this game, and obviously we got some exciting stuff going on in that fourth quarter where Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans were both suspended, I'm pretty sure, or both disqualified from the game, ejected, and Mike Evans is now suspended for next week. I'm not sure who they play right now, but
Green Bay.
He is appealing that suspension, I think. So that's what they said.
He's not gonna get. He's not gonna get it
that.
taken over though. No,
I
no way.
saw he's gonna appeal. Suspension is probably still gonna stand for him, but Winston couldn't get anything done. People are kind of turning on him, even after what he shown last season before his injury. Just because of this game, people are already saying that Winston cannot lead the Saints to much. So we'll see what happens with New Orleans next week. Same with Tampa without their star receiver, but I think the Bucks are going to be able to handle it as they get the win on the road.
Yeah, me and Suas both took the Buccaneers, and we both thought that Tom Brady was finally going to get his big win against New Orleans. Massive win for Tampa. They continue their strong start to this year. Their defense has been the talk of the tail, not the offense. Really impressed by the speed of this defense. Forcing Jameis Winston into multiple turnovers. I mean, this is the Jameis we all knew and loved. Famous Jameis turning the ball over. But big win for Tampa. And as for New Orleans, all I want to say is why can't Marshawn Lattimore get suspended as well? That would really be nice if he got suspended for week 3, like Mike Evans did. But New Orleans has some things to figure out. Alvin Kamara's injury is a big head case for them as well. Hopefully he gets back on track. So we'll see how the Saints bounce back. But they should bounce back next week, though, because they're playing a team without a real head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all. I think Hudson, you picked the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all picked the Bucks. Mike Evans was just salty. He was getting locked up by Lattimore. I don't know how else to say. Like they've had beef for like 5 years. I don't know. Like that whole extracurricular stuff. That's just the Bucks and the Saints. Like they always are going at it. But the Bucks did come out, pull this one out. Jameis Winston threw like 4 picks. That was terrible. But the Bucks did their job, and shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-0. Seattle is San Francisco. Trey Lance out for the season. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of changes things a lot, actually, for the 49ers and even just for the Dolphins, considering we now only have their first round pick. I was excited because I really thought that they would go further with Garoppolo than Trey Lance. So considering that they were riding on the Trey Lance train, Garoppolo wouldn't be starting obviously any games this season. But now after this injury, they basically have the same exact team as last year, and they made the NFC Championship game last year. Team that they lost to went on to win Super Bowl. So they could easily find themselves going deep into the playoffs once again, which really sucks for the Dolphins' draft implications. But for the Niners, I mean, obviously, number 3 overall, sat out basically all of last season. Now 5 quarters into his NFL career, he's out for the season. Had successful surgery today on his ankle, hoping he can come back better than ever. But yeah, the Garoppolo and the 49ers really just demolished this game. Geno Smith had that great game in week 1, but obviously came back and was not as good. But 49ers got the blowout win here over Seattle, but obviously the biggest story is that they lose their young quarterback for the season.
Yeah, tough loss for the 49ers. But me and Suas both picked them to win this game comfortably. Good win for them. And I'm glad to see Jimmy Garoppolo back on the field. He's back in rhythm, man. Like, dude hasn't practiced probably at all, and he looks very good. And I expect this 49ers fan base to rally around Jimmy Garoppolo for this season. They still have a lot of talent on their team. So, yeah, I wouldn't give up on the season if I was a Niners fan at all. In fact, I'd be a little bit more optimistic because Jimmy Garoppolo has been in there and done that. He's taken this team to the NFC Championship. He's taken this team to the Super Bowl. So I'd be optimistic if I was a Niners fan. But a big win in general. And as for the Seahawks, we knew they were trash. And they just got lucky last week against a team who also doesn't have a head coach.
Yeah, I expected the 49ers to win this game. I have a bone to pick with Kyle Shanahan. So he did this with Robert Griffin III, RG3. These running QBs, he runs them into the ground, bro. Like, you cannot keep running QB power every possession. Like, Trey Lance is not Josh Allen. Josh Allen is 6'6", and he has some size. Trey Lance is skinny. He's not that big. You can't keep running him into the ground, bro. Like, he has to learn. I think that was completely on the coaching staff. But apart from that, 49ers looked good. Bounced back against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I mean, they had a good week 1 performance, but we all know they're not the best team. Speaking of that game, we'll talk about who the Seahawks lost to in week 1. Broncos versus Texans. What do you guys think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, through the first half and most of this game, the Broncos really looked awful. Broncos barely got the win, 16-9. 1 possession game. Final stats for Wilson, pulling them up. 14 for 31, 219 yards, a touchdown to end an interception. Neither team looked good. If any team looked better, was the Texans, considering that this team was, in talks to be the worst in the NFL. And here they are tying with the Colts and barely losing to the Seahawks in their first 2 weeks. And here the Broncos are losing to the Seahawks and barely beating the Texans, which is a big problem in Denver. I know you're 1-1, but if I'm a Broncos fan or in that administration, I'm close to that panic range, especially after these first 2 games, or only after these first 2 games. Javonte Williams hasn't really shown too much after being obviously named the running back 1. And Jerry Jeudy went down with an injury. I haven't gotten much word on that. Haven't looked into that much, but I don't think he came back in this game. So Courtland Sutton's going to have to step up as that wide receiver number 1 for this already weak receiving core. But I think the Broncos are definitely got to be near that panic button.
Yeah, this was a snooze fest if you tried to watch this game. And Nathaniel Hackett has clearly proven himself as an incomparable coach. I don't care if they're 1-1. The Broncos, in my opinion now, I don't think they're making the playoffs. I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs anymore.
Oh.
I think Nathaniel Hackett's a freaking fraud. He doesn't know how to coach a team. Are you kidding me? Multiple situations in this game, and you almost blew it. You almost blew it. You were lucky that Russell Wilson bailed you out of a situation. Even he looked trash during the game, and you almost blew it. The Texans could have almost won this game very easily if it wasn't for that Broncos defense. Just unbelievable. I like the way this Texans team plays. They rally around Lovie Smith. People aren't going to talk much about the Texans, but they got a culture building. As for the Broncos, I think they're frauds, and I think they get exposed badly on primetime next week against the 49ers.
The Broncos are frauds. I mean, I said it from the beginning. I predicted they would miss the playoffs even before the season started. And I don't care. They beat the Texans. Whoop-de-doo. Like, that's just not anything to be proud of by 7 points. Their offense is stinky. Nathaniel Hackett needs to go, in my opinion. Lovie Smith has impressed me. He used to be Illinois' coach. He was terrible back then. He's actually a lot better now. But I think for the Denver Broncos, this is just more about how they're just struggling right now. And they have to get it together against the 49ers. It's going to be a test for them. Speaking of another team that has struggled to start the season, the Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2 after losing to the Cowboys. Thoughts?
I really don't know how the Cowboys managed to win this game, but Joe Burrow and the Bengals have not been looking too good. Joe Burrow didn't have a completely awful game, but you're losing to the Cowboys, and even if this is with Prescott, I'm thinking like all right, like it's not the worst situation because you're losing to the Cowboys with their starting quarterback. Like it wouldn't be that bad, but bro, Cooper Rush is the starting quarterback for the Cowboys, and you let him have 19 for 31, go for 235 yards and a touchdown. I really don't know what to think about this Bengals team. I'm thinking maybe the Super Bowl hangover has got to them. I thought that they would be an exception to that hangover, considering that they had such a young team that they would be an exception. But I mean, here they are 0-2, losing to who they play last week? Steelers, and now the Cowboys. We play them week 4 on Thursday Night Football, so that kind of convinces me that we can potentially go 3-1 or 4-0 between these first 4 games. But Bengals have not been looking good.
Yeah, the Bengals haven't been looking good. I'm not too concerned. It's just offensive sluggish starts, in my opinion. Joe Burrow and this offense will figure it out. They have too much talent on their team to not figure it out. They will figure it out. I don't know who they play week 3, but they got to get it started that week. This defense has played really well, considering the fact that their offense has scored a combined 37 points in 2 games, which is kind of crazy to say, this Bengals offense. But I expect the Bengals to turn it around. 0-2 is not that bad of a start. They can definitely turn it around, and I expect them to turn it around. I will say I'm very surprised by the way the Cowboys played. Their defense really rallied up at the end. Props to them. But, the Cowboys can still make the playoffs. If Dak Prescott comes back by week 5, week 6, and Cooper Rush has them in a spot around 3-3, 3-2, this team can still very well make playoffs. So we'll see about Dallas.
The Bengals, the main concern for me is that their offensive line looks as bad as it was last year. And they made all those signings in free agency, and they haven't really done anything. Like Lyle Collins and all those people haven't done much at all. Joe Mixon has not lived up to his expectations. He hasn't really been a factor this season for them. And on top of that, Joe Burrow has been struggling. So their offense has really struggled to generate anything. Their defense has been okay, but their offense has just been so bad. Cowboys give them credit. They fought without Dak. Cooper Rush did a solid job. I think they'll be solid. I think the Cowboys will be a solid team until Dak comes back, obviously. Moving on to the next game, we got the Falcons and the Rams. Very close game at the end. Falcons almost came back. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I didn't watch much of this game, at least towards I started watching with like a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. Matthew Stafford apparently had a really bad game, at least considering it was against this Falcons defense. Game really ended. Came down to the wire though. Mariota threw a deep pass into the end zone down 4, and it was intercepted by Jalen Ramsey, which basically sealed the game. Drake London finally actually had a game where he looked impressive. 8 receptions for over 85 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp doing what Cooper Kupp does best: 11 receptions, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But yeah, neither team really looks solid. I mean, the Falcons looked really good against this Rams defense. The Rams, they scored 31 points, I guess, but considering that the Falcons kept it that close, really did not have a great game. Would have been something if you lose the home opener and then you lose to the Falcons next week. Would have been really bad for the Rams, but they were able to sneak out the win. They move on to 1-1.
Yeah, big win for I wouldn't say big win. It was an important win for the Rams. They needed this, but in terms of how good they look sloppy towards the end. They narrowly pulled it out. You cannot allow a team like Atlanta to come back from down to 28-3. Unacceptable. But I expect them to pick it up. I figured week 1 is going to be a slogfest for them against, the Bills, who I think could be Super Bowl champions this year. A good win for them, though, nonetheless, important win. And let's see how they do next week. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have a tough matchup, but we'll discuss who they play next week. And I expect them to continue on this roll. Matthew Stafford seems to have found some chemistry with Allen Robinson. We'll see if we can continue for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Rams pulled this one out at the end. Falcons have been competing in these 2 games. Been pretty impressed. Kyle Pitts' usage is crazy. Like 3 targets in this last game. Cordero Patterson in this last game did not do anything either. Both of them fucking sold my team. 2 point and 1 point each in fantasy. Terrible. Kyle Pitts has to be used more. Like whether it's for fantasy or whether it's like to win games. Like he is too much of a threat to not be targeted as little as he has been targeted. Jalen Ramsey had the game sealing pick at the end. That's good. He came back. He had a bounce back game. And the Rams pulled it out at the end. Allen Robinson's usage rate, like Tay just said, has gone up, which is good for the Rams. Yeah, we'll see how they do in week 3. But yeah, good win for the Rams. Moving on to the only overtime game, the Raiders versus the Cardinals. Maybe the best game of the week, depending on who you ask. What do you guys think about this game?
Well, I thought that it was definitely not the game of the week, but definitely one of the best for sure, probably second best. Raiders were up 20-0 at halftime and going into the fourth up 23-7. I really don't know how they blew this game, but somehow, being the Raiders, they did. Devontae Adams with only 2 receptions for 12 yards. That is going to end up being an issue. I'm sure he is missing Aaron Rodgers very badly. But Cardinals scored twice in the fourth quarter, tied it up after a crazy 2-point conversion, 23-23, sent it to overtime. And then after, I think the Cardinals got the ball and they punted it, then the Raiders got the ball. They were driving until Hunter Renfrow fumbled. Byron Murphy picked it up, ran it back 60 yards to the house for the win. And he nearly pulled the Deshaun Jackson and let the ball go before he went through the end zone. But Cardinals were able to sneak out a win here. Kyler Murray proved that he can be really inconsistent at times, but he can also make plays that only he can make. I really don't know another quarterback in the league other than maybe like Lamar and Josh Allen and Mahomes too, who can scramble around the field for about 20 full seconds and then somehow fit it in an angle that nobody else can. But really sloppy game from the Raiders in the second half. And like I said, those 2 receptions to Devontae Adams are not going to be what you have to do to win these types of games.
Yeah, Kyler's a magician. And, we all knew that Kyler had a lot of talent. We just, he is the Cardinals. Without him, the Cardinals don't stand a chance in any game. So yeah, massive comeback. As for the Raiders, Hudson's absolutely right. 2 receptions for Devontae Adams. That's absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable in a game where the Cardinals secondary is probably one of the worst in the league, in my opinion. They just got absolutely torched by Patrick Mahomes last week. And instead of going after them and going to your best target in Devontae Adams, you go conservative and you just get super sloppy to the point where they come back and win. Unacceptable from the Raiders. They're 0-2 to start the year. They look sloppy. I think they can still turn it around, but they need to get their stuff together. They need to get back on track as soon as possible. Derek Carr needs to go back to the well to Devontae Adams. That's the only way they're going to get back into this season. But a big win nonetheless for the Cardinals. I still think they're frauds regardless. This game really doesn't change too much for me.
Real quick, Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna have some disagreements. What's the reasoning?
I'm taking Kyler simply because of talent, man. Like Russell Wilson doesn't have it anymore. Like if we were talking prime Russell Wilson, sure, I'll take prime Russell Wilson. But this Russell Wilson doesn't look that good at all. So far in the season. And Kyler Murray is still a freaking cheat code, though. He's just in a wrong offense, in my opinion. He's him. Right?
That's fair. I think that obviously if we're taking prime, I'm going Russ because we haven't seen the prime of Kyler Murray yet. But I think it's a matter of time, not before teams figure out how Kyler Murray plays, but just the play style, what Cliff Kingsbury does best, and their teams are going to find that out soon. And Cardinals are not going to be as dynamic. We saw them go, what was it, 8-0 or 9-0, whatever it was last season before they caught on, and then first round exits to the Rams it turned out to be, and they just turned out to be the better team. But prove that regular season really, obviously it matters, of course, but playoffs are just a whole another level of football. And Russell Wilson, I know the Broncos haven't been good this season at all. Last season was the whole entire injury. But you got to think, before that, Russell Wilson was known as the top 5 quarterback in every single type of debate. So I want to see at least maybe till like week 6, week 7, maybe even week 8 at that point to debate, quarterbacks and how they play. But as of right now, I still want to go Russell Wilson.
Okay, interesting. I'm going Kyler, but so this game was interesting. Like you guys said, Devontae Adams with two receptions is absolutely atrocious. I saw this tweet. I don't know if Hudson saw this tweet. It was like Tyreek Hill only needs 2 receptions to change a game, but Devontae Adams needs 11 receptions. Do you guys think there's any truth to that or no?
It's a valid point, but Devontae Adams can also change the game in one play too. He's also one of the more explosive. So he's kind of wrong. I see what he's trying to say. He's trying to say Tyreek is a little bit more explosive, but Devontae can take over a game with multiple catches. Is probably what he's saying.
Yeah. 2 receptions is terrible. It was just not a good showing from Derek Carr in this game. Kyler, you got to give a lot of credit, man. They battled to the end. AJ Green, I thought had a really good game. AJ Green, he played really well. That 2-point conversion and all that. Yeah, Kyler just willed this team to victory. And then at the end, they had that the turnover where they ran into the end zone. That was a great game. And I think that is the end of the afternoon / evening games. But then we have the Sunday night game, which was Bears Packers. 10-27. Bears lost. Packers won. I think we all probably picked Packers. What do you guys think of this game?
Yeah, not much to say. Mistakes on both sides of the ball, but we obviously know that Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago and the whole entire Bears franchise, so was pretty expected to see the Packers come out on top, but it was not a pretty game from either side. Like I said, we knew that the Packers would end up winning this game.
Yeah, nothing much else to say. I knew Aaron Rodgers was going to bounce back eventually. Week 2, Aaron Jones is apparently a thing. So apparently every week 2, Aaron Jones just goes absolutely ballistic. Good win for the Packers to get their offense back on track. I'd like to see a little bit more from them, though. First half was really explosive. Second half, they kind of got a little sloppy down the stretch. Like to see a little bit more from them. Big game for them, week 3. As for the Bears, I like their spirit. They have a really good culture. They seem to be in games that they don't necessarily shouldn't be in. And even, like, think about it. If that Justin Fields touchdown was ruled a touchdown, they might be have a chance to win against Green Bay
Yeah.
easily. I like the way their culture is going through. It seems like Doug Eberflus is the right head coach for them. Good hire by Chicago, and it seems like their culture is going the right way. I would like to see their offense be a little bit more two-dimensional, with Justin Fields passing the ball a little bit more. Obviously, they don't have the weapons for it, but they seem to be more reliant on the run than the pass, which is not really that good of a strategy in today's NFL. So I'd like to see that get fixed. But other than that, the Bears have a really good culture coming in.
Yeah, obviously being a Lions fan, this game, I watched this game, pretty closely. The Packers looked solid. Like, I don't think they looked like amazing. The Bears, I thought, fought like a little harder than I thought they would. David Montgomery had an insane game. But for the Packers, I mean, Rodgers kind of bounced back. Aaron Jones had a crazy game, and they just won this game at the end. But I mean, I think we all expected the Packers to win. Moving on to the 2 Monday night games, as we're recording, both of them have been finished now. Titans Bills 41-7, just complete domination from the Buffalo Bills. No Gabriel Davis. I think they were missing someone else as well, but no problem for them. They just look like the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we know Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis are the 2 top weapons for this team. So, potentially we see another guy step up with Gabe Davis out, but instead it's just Stephon Diggs taking his place. 3 touchdowns on the day for him, as well as almost 150 receiving yards. Josh Allen proves that he is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Ryan Tannehill completely just sold this game for the Titans. Even saw a bit of Malik Willis, and I saw
yes, we did. We did
I
see a bit of Malik Willis.
I saw like the first drive, and then after that, I started watching the Vikings-Eagles end of the first half. That game turned out to be a bummer too, but really nothing here going for the Titans. It was like what was the score at halftime? It was 7-7 after the first quarter, and after that, everything went downhill. So, blow up from the Bills, and just kind of gets me a bit nervous for next week, but
like I've mentioned before, the Titans are one of the most biggest fraudulent teams in the NFL. I've been banging on this table for weeks saying that the Titans are fraudulent. And I think the Bills are Super Bowl contenders. Straight out of that. Like, I think the Bills could, I'm pretty sure I said in my season predictions, they might only lose 1 or 2 games this season. That's how dominant Buffalo is. And once they get your Davius White 2 back, this team is going to be unstoppable, man. I don't know a single team, except for maybe like the Chiefs or the Buccaneers, or I don't know who's going to beat this team, man. Like, I actually just don't. This team is very dominant on both sides of the football. And they're on a roll. They're on a mission this year to prove that they are the real deal. And they're just hurling everyone through their path, and that includes the bum ass Tennessee Titans, who are the biggest frauds on this planet.
Yeah, I mean, there was complete domination from the Bills. Jordan Poyer, not Jordan Poyer. What's his name? Well, who's the corner that got injured, bro? Dane Johnson?
Prayers out to him.
Dane Johnson?
I don't know what his name is. He's the second stringer.
I think his name is Dane Johnson.
Dane Johnson.
Prayers up to him. He had a gruesome injury. But apart from that, Bills completely dominated throughout this game. Stephon Diggs is a cheat code. The Titans just suck. I mean, if Derrick Henry's not having a great game, then I really don't know who else is doing anything else for them. They looked okay in the first quarter, but apart from that, they just fell apart. I was happy to see Malik Willis. I did say that Malik Willis would probably, get a lot more of the first team snaps once the season went along. He already got some of them. down the stretch. I expect Malik Willis to be QB1 when the season is over. So,
Oh, I do too. I do too.
but yeah, domination from the Bills. I think they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I said that like before too, but I think they're gonna win it. Eagles Vikings. I was very surprised. Eagles 24, Vikings 7. I picked the Vikings. I don't know who else picked the Vikings, but I think someone. Yeah, Tatus and I picked the Vikings. Hudson, who do you pick?
I picked the Vikings as well.
We all picked the Vikings. The Eagles came out and they completely stifled the Vikings. Kirk Cousins did not know what to do. 3 picks. Like Justin Jefferson didn't even have the best game, but Kirk Cousins was like never throwing him the ball. Like the Kirk Cousins kept missing him when he was wide open. I don't know. There's something about Kirk Cousins on nationally televised games. He just disappears. And then for the Eagles, I mean, Jalen Hurts looks like a stud, bro. Like Jalen Hurts looks so good. And they didn't even have like anyone else who had like a dominant game, but their defense like really stepped up. What do you think about this game, though?
I mean, Kirk Cousins just really showed absolute terrible play tonight. 3 interceptions. On the other hand, though, the Eagles look solid. To me, this was probably the closest game that I was determining who I thought would win this game, especially primetime. And do you know what I'm thinking right now? I think I wasn't able to make the episodes for the predictions, but the thing that I was most worried about picking the Vikings is that Kirk Cousins sucks on Monday Night Football. He is some type of statistical record or stats or whatever it is from his Monday Night Football experiences, and he's like 1 in like 13 or something. It's like obviously even worse after tonight, but he can just not win after the week is over and everyone's watching him. It's just absurd what it comes to, but I should have known. I should have taken the Eagles this game. I'm high on the Vikings, but as long as the Vikings play on Monday Night Football, they are not winning. But luckily, most of their games are on Sunday, so I'm still high on this team. I was high on both these teams, so it was really tough for me to pick, but Eagles look pretty good. Eagles look good.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I was high on both these teams, but I will never ever pick. I will never ever pick Kirk Cousins on primetime to win a game ever again. Or on Monday Night Football. My bad. The Jalen Hurts. Like, what else can you say? He has improved his passing mechanics. His running game is off the charts. He's getting everybody involved. Devonta Smith got going today, unlike last week. AJ Brown didn't have the biggest of games, but he didn't need to. And the Eagles defense just stymied Minnesota, probably because Kirk Cousins was so bad. And apparently Kirk Cousins' favorite target today was Irv Smith Jr. For some odd reason other than Justin Jefferson, who should be your number 1 target.
Darius Slay had a nice game against
Darius Slay was all over Justin Jefferson tonight. I expect more from Jay Jettas in the coming games, but big game for the Eagles. I think this is more of a statement game for Philadelphia, that they are legit. They should have control of this division unless Dak comes back and somehow makes a noise for the Dallas Cowboys, or maybe even the Giants somehow do some bullshit. But other than that, I think the Eagles are the real deal. They should win this division comfortably.
I mean, this just makes me feel better because we put up 35 against the Eagles, and the Vikings literally like got absolutely shit on. Like they could not do anything against them. So the NFC North might be a lot more wide open than a lot of people think because we got 3 really I think the Lions could actually they could make a fight out of it. With how the Vikings have played, the Packers haven't really looked like the Packers of old. But the Eagles just look amazing, man. Like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts he's a stud. And their defense is really good. Darius Slay had a good game. Kirk Cousins, though, absolutely terrible. He's a mediocre QB. Like there's nothing really special about him. And when he is not on his game, he's one of the worst QBs in the league. So, yeah, especially on primetime Monday Night Football, terrible. Yeah, that is the recap for all these games.
Oh,
real quick before we wrap it up. Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear our predictions from this week or in total out of the 2 weeks so far?
Well, we're standings for week 2. I didn't get to see how many.
Yeah, just do
So-
week 2. Do week 2.
I went 8 for 8. Tejas, you went 7 for 9, and Suas, you went 9 for 7. 9. I mean, you know what I mean. 9 and
9
7.
and 7.
9 and 7. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were off this week.
Yeah.
No,
Everybody
we had
was.
a lot of upsets.
A lot of
this season.
upsets.
Yeah.
I think the 9 and 7 came from me picking the Giants.
It did.
Because both
It did.
you all probably
And
picked the Panthers.
also- Yeah, the Giants. And, well, for me, it was because I took the Seahawks over the 49ers.
Okay. But yeah, that is our recap. Before we wrap it up, AFC, NFC defensive and offensive players of the week. We'll start it off. Like just give me your NFC offensive players of the week.
Oh, go ahead. That's my bad.
All right. Well, was not prepped for here. NFC offense player of the week, I'll go Monroe St. Brown. I know it may be somebody else's pick, but I think it's fine. He really had himself a game of 2 touchdowns and like over 100 receiving yards. He really had himself a day. Do I go defensive player?
Yeah.
Yeah, go defensive.
I really don't want to do it, but I'm gonna go Aiden Hutchinson, 3 sacks on the day. I know they're both Lions players, so it just kind of sucks. But those were the 2 top guys that I was able to find. So those are my NFC guys.
Yeah, NFC offense player of the week. I'm gonna go with Cooper Kupp. Pretty easy for me. Solid day, 11 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Can't really ask any more from Cooper Kupp. Defensive player of the week. I'm gonna go with the surprise pick. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he had 2 sacks today on Sunday as well. Micah Parsons is just wreaking havoc, man. He is wreaking havoc with Dallas. He looks Hudson's pick might be right, man. He is on a trend to win Defense Player of the Year very easily. He's just a stud. He is just a stud. He's all over the field. He's the reason why Dallas won this game against Cincinnati, so I have to give it to him this week.
I'm gonna go Aaron Jones for NFC Player of the Week. I think he had a really good game. Like he didn't have that good of a week 1, which is why I wanted to give it to him. He kind of had like a redemption week. I was gonna go on one drive, but like Hudson picked him, so like I'm not gonna go with him. And then defensive player of the week. Shoot, I don't even know. Like, I mean, like a lot of these games were like shutouts. I guess I'll go Darius Slay for what he did in this game. He had a good game against Justin Jefferson, so I'll go Darius Slay. AFC. I feel like we all know where Hudson's going with this one.
Bro, it's nobody else. You can't give it to Lamar Jackson because he lost the game.
Yes,
if
we
you want
can.
to,
Yes, we can.
If you want to, that's fine. But like, it should really be going to a winning team. I'm going to a 6 pass. I mean, come on, bro. Like, it's obviously Tua. And for defensive, AFC defensive, I could easily go Marcus Williams, but I'm not. 2 interceptions for him, but we're not going to really talk about those. I'm going to go Devin Lloyd, a guy who had an interception and was really the leader on the defense for the Jaguars against the Colts, had a couple tackles for loss and led the team in tackles. So I'll go with him this week.
Yeah, AFC offense player of the week. I'm also going with the Miami Dolphins. I'm actually going to go Jalen Waddle, though. Had a monster game, just all over the field. He had 19 targets, which led to 11 receptions. That's crazy. And just an absolute statement game for the Miami Dolphins. And defensive player of the week. I actually didn't have this one thought through, but give me a minute. I have to think through this one because I didn't get AFC defensive down. Go ahead, Suas. I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get my offensive, and then like if you have your defensive. Okay, if we're going by like if they have to be winning players, I'm giving it to Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco had a tremendous week, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. So, Joe Flacco will be my my AFC. Sorry, I was about to say AFC. AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, you could go either way. Tays, do you have your pick?
Hold on, I'm trying to find his name. Give me a second.
I was actually gonna go Devin Lloyd, but like Hudson completely stole my pick on that one.
Got him.
You got him.
Oh.
I'm going with. I'm gonna go or you going?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jalen Watson for his 99-yard pick six.
Yeah.
Basically the game winner for Kansas City.
Oh, true.
Basically the game winner, so he's gonna get it for me.
I'm going Jalen Mills from the Patriots. I think he had a good game against the Steelers. And one interception, 4 tackles. He had a good game. And then that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. We'll see you guys later as always. Peace.